So our cakes are ready and out of the oven. They are absolutely gorgeous. They're so nice. Look at all these bright colors. So we have our red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple layers. Now all we got to do is put them together, stack them, cover that with the beautiful white buttercream icing and sprinkle some rainbow sprinkles on top, and we have our rainbow cake. So guys, I'm so excited to show you how to do this because it turns out to be such a beautiful cake when you put it all together. To layer this cake, I start with my purple layer at the bottom and I work my way up so that we have our red at the top. I'm just going to switch these on the other side, easier for me to grab. Again, you want to make sure that you have lots of space when you're making this rainbow cake. You don't need a ton of space, but make sure you have free space and you've cleaned up so that you have room to work. What we're going to do is we're going to stack our cakes. So with that, we're going to put a little bit of buttercream at the bottom of our cake board, and I'm going to start with my purple. So these cakes are awesome because we don't have to level them because it's such a thin layer. They're perfect and ready to stack right away. I will put this straight onto my cake board like this. I'll grab some vanilla buttercream, which I have already prepared. Just put a blob of that inside. This is an icing cake, so you don't have to put too much icing on the inside because there will be icing on the outside. So just make sure to spread that around the cake. After we put the purple, we're going to put blue cake on top. If there's too much icing, you can scrape that off. Again, don't put too much icing inside because we're going to put icing around it. So then we have our blue. It already looks so beautiful. And this is such a marvelous cake when you cut through it and you see all the layers of cake on the outside, or actually, sorry, on the inside of the cake. It's just so pretty. Kids love this cake. I love this cake. It's one of my favorite cakes to make because the end result is just so bright and fun and colorful. So there we go. That's another layer. So now we put our green. And I'm going to repeat this process until I go all the way to the top and I finish with my red layer of cake. So I'll just go ahead. You can fill this with sprinkles on the inside if you want. You can put cookies on the inside, anything that you want to fill. You don't have to just put icing. I like to put icing because on the inside when you cut through it, you see all the white in between the layers, which is really pretty. But if you want to put Nutella or if you want to put peanut butter, now we'll do yellow. You can put cookie crumbs, you can put marshmallow, you can put chocolate, whatever your kids want, you know? You can let them be creative and give you some tips on what they want to eat on the inside of the cake. You can even put some colorful M&Ms. That would be nice as well. So I put a little bit too much icing, so I'm just going to take that off of my cake. Next is orange. And then we'll finish with our red. Lazy Susans are awesome when you're decorating your cakes because you can just turn the cake around to make it easier for you instead of you having to go around the cake. So if you find that it's getting a little bit lopsided, you can just kind of push it to the side. And now I'll put my red layer on top. And that's done. So you have all your layers. Now I'm going to cover it completely with white icing. And I'll just put a lot of icing on top. And with my, again, using my offset spatula, I just spread this. First, I'm going to do a thin crumb coat, which is just a coat that's going to cover all my cake. And then we'll put another coat on top. This is just a thin coat. This is just to keep the crumbs inside so that when we put our final layer of icing on top, we don't have all the crumbs all being shown. Before working with these cakes, you want to make sure that you let them cool once they're out of the oven, because if not, if they're warm, then your buttercream will be soft and melted. So just like this. Just put a little bit more. Try to show you guys how it's done. So this doesn't have to be perfect, this process, because it's just to keep your crumbs on the inside. So once this is done, I'm going to stick this into the fridge for about 10 minutes to let the icing seep in. If you want, you don't have to. And then you would just put another layer of icing on top. I'll just make this a bit. I'm going to put a thicker layer on top. So just like that. And now we want to cover our cake completely. Just like this. If you don't have an offset spatula, you can use a regular knife that you have at home. The offset spatula I find is a little bit easier to work with. And you just want to make sure you cover all the borders. Like that. This is a great cake to do for birthdays, for summer birthdays, for winter birthdays. Anytime you want to brighten up someone's day, you can make this cake for them. And don't tell them what's on the inside so that when they cut the cake, it's a surprise for them. So once that is done, I'm just going to try and clean this up a bit. Then I like to top this off with a little bit of rainbow sprinkles. Just wipe my hands. And with your sprinkles, you can just put some sprinkles around the border of your cake. You can use any sprinkles you want. I think these ones are so cute. They're like funfetti sprinkles. And there you go. There you have a rainbow cake. Later on we'll cut into it. I'm going to stick this into the fridge. Later on we'll cut into it and I'll show you guys what it looks like on the inside.